an all-new, all-different, uncanny C-list villains podcast. We are the cultivators of the comic culture. We are your hosts, E-Man, this way, yeah, that way, and Red tonight. How are you fine folks doing this evening?
Yeah, let's go ahead and wait till they answer that question. I want to know. I want to know how these fine how are these fine folk doing tonight?
Yes, we've had Miss So and Herbs currently on the chat, and the big news right now is E-Man got a brand new job.
What?
Congrats!
Yeah, I'm
Congratulations.
working again. I'm working again.
Moving
So
on up to the east side.
it's such a trip too. Like I haven't commuted on on BART in over 6 years now. For those who don't know, BART is our subway train station that gets around the Bay Area over here. I haven't commuted to BART since like definitely before pandemic. Went on the system today, man, and it was such a trip to get a seat. And you guys don't know how crazy that is. Before pre-pandemic, these trains used to be packed. Red, they were packed, and I'm sure I've shown you some pictures.
Yeah, I remember it being packed and random bums be shitting, defecating all over the train. And it was a big petri dish of germs and all sorts of microorganisms that shouldn't belong on a train in the first place.
It,
But here
it,
we are. This is our mass transit that we love to go back and forth within the Bay Area and back. And
so I mean, no joke when I say it is not uncommon for you to see someone smoking weed, smoking crack, just begging for money, or doing dance routines on one of the trains. Like it is such a trip. How
breaking news: someone was smoking weed and crack.
uh, one or the other end or both. It was insane to actually see this happening. Like it's there's no shortage of surprises on the system. But this was when, pre-pandemic packed, everyone was on it. Dude, I was on there today, Red. There was hardly anyone on there. Like to get a seat at my station is uncommon whatsoever.
Oh yeah,
And I went actually all the way into San Francisco from Oakland, and there were empty seats.
wow.
It was crazy. It was crazy to see that. Like being able to get a seat, and then and then the creepiness to me was actually like getting into San Francisco this morning, dude. Like relatively speaking, the streets were empty. Like it didn't even look like commuters hours. It looked like a Saturday morning. Like
What
there, it
time
was
was this?
it was around 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's peak.
It's supposed to be peak. Exactly. That's peak commuter times right there in the Bay Area. And it was dead. It was super, super eerie.
Herbs is
Right.
saying, "Why I want to leave this state? Keep it illegal." You crazy.
O- Okay. The person named
Herb.
Herbs. So check this out, right? So check this out. So I get to my new position, right? To what's known as my assignment, right?
Not sponsored by Pepsi.
And not see, I get to my new assignment, and my the company that I work for owns like a 6-story building in the city. They're not uncommon. They're smaller buildings compared to what they have, the big old skyscrapers. But they're like, yeah, pre-pandemic, all 6 floors were filled up. Post-pandemic, man, they're only occupying 3 floors, and I went to all three. Every single one of them were empty. I'm just even wondering what I'm doing there. But they
You
they
didn't give you
needed
the option to work from home.
they nope, there's no option to work from home. They're saying it's 100% on site.
Well, that's fine.
But
If
but
there's less people there, then you're not really contracting or spreading any kind of germs.
true. There was no joke. I met 6 people today total. 6 people in a building where it should occupy minimum 80. And then on top of that, you have like the higher ups, like this is like the headquarters for this little company. And like the COO, CFO, CTO, like all the chiefs are supposed to be there, and apparently they're rarely there. It is such a trip to be able to work back in San Francisco post pandemic, traveling post pandemic, and it's just empty. It's super, super. I was waiting for a tumbleweed to just cross the street. It was insane.
Are you sure it's not haunted?
Ooh. So then I went to lunch, right? I was like, you know what, let me go grab some lunch. And during lunchtime, 12:30, 1 o'clock, it's busy. In San Francisco, the streets are busy. No, empty. Like hardly anyone was out.
Wow, what's the point of working there if people are not even working there?
So that's an argument that's being raised. So we definitely need, for this position, we definitely need IT in the office to make sure cables and certain
And the printers are
conference
working.
room printers are working, making sure conference room video is working, all that stuff, all the IT stuff, right? They just want to make sure that there's, boots on the ground just in case something happens. But they're also, our department, my department, like the two guys that I'm working with, they're trying to raise an argument that, hey, look, at least let us have a hybrid schedule, right? Let us work from home 2-3 days a week. We'll come in once a week, all of us, just to make sure everyone's alive, right? Like on a Wednesday or a Thursday. But let's have a hybrid schedule. It makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? It makes sense.
Makes sense for you guys, but I'm the biggest proponent of working in the office, since I know I can't get anything done if I'm home.
Well, that's
uh,
we're finding out that people can operate better at home. People are happier working from home. They feel safer working from home. But it also depends on what kind of work that you're doing, right? There's a lot of jobs where you need to be in there. You have to be there.
yeah, I have equipment there that needs need a service, or I need to use. I can't bring said equipment to my house because it's just shared equipment.
Shout out to my boy Cole, man. Thanks for coming by for a quick.
What up, Cole? What did those say?
They remodeled a new office for us during the pandemic, and no one wanted to go in. So they let us keep working from home. See, and that's why it's good for mental health. I believe, I thoroughly believe that it's good for mental health. That
Mental health really stems from your higher ups.
How comfortable are you with going in? How comfortable? How much happier are you? We got used to a certain way of life. Let's be perfectly honest.
I still go in shorts and flip flops.
See, that's the thing. We can't, like, now that I'm IT, right? Now that I moved up a little bit, I actually have to go in business casual. And now it's like, it's business. It's so funny.
I goes in shorts and flip flops. Sometimes even Crocs. This guy has comfort. It's not the most cushiest job, since you have to get in the crawl space, check for wires, see for rat's nests.
Below the camera, you guys, yeah, I've been very comfortable these last 2.5-3 years. I have no need ever to see my coworkers.
He is
ever again. I'm with you, Miss So. I'm with you. If you've seen day in the life of a LinkedIn employee video, that's how I picture E-Man. I need to see this. I need to know what this is. Well, and it probably was the herbs.
Had employees.
To be perfectly honest with you, it probably was me. I'd be here, I'd work for maybe 2-3 hours, I'd play Apex, do some video editing, back to working, going in and doing some laundry, feeding the dogs, going for a little walk, walking the dogs. It was good for my mental health, man. Working from home. Look, when you're in IT, honestly, when you're in tech, you do have some pretty decent perks.
Yeah, well, the whole thought process is you don't need to work 8 hours to do 8 hours worth of work.
Exactly.
You have to work from home.
What sucks though is there are times where Mimi she would text us and she'd be like, I'm done. She's like, I'm done with my work. I'm just trying to figure out what to do. Like, and it's cool because she ends up figuring out what she needs to do. But like her initial work, like she's so valuable. Where she works at a doctor's office in Oakland, and she's so valuable, and I admire her because she's like, I'm done with my work, but I need to find more. Man, I wish I was like you. I wish I could say words like that. I'm done with my work and I need to find more. No, I do love wearing sweatpants and not showering. See, Cole knows. And with that magnificent mustache too, he can have like a burrito, right? He can have like all the curry, like all on his mustache while working, and no one cares.
Who wear sweatpants and not shower. And yeah, we complain about the smell, but they still come into the office.
Well, that's, you have to tell them that they got to shower before. Like, look, staying at home is completely different. But I also enjoy going to the office. And I'm with you, Cole. See, and I was telling my coworkers today, I was like, look, to be perfectly honest with you, I work just as good at home, fucking around. And I just tell them that, fucking around. I still get my job done. but I also need the physical interaction. I need to be there with my coworkers and see what you guys do. Like I haven't done this in 3 years, you guys. Like for the last two jobs, I've seen my coworkers via a computer, so it's good. However, I see like on my very first day, I'm like, yeah, we can do this hybridly. Like there's no reason for 3 of us to be in there. So, you know, I feel bad for the businesses suffering in areas where no one's going into work anymore, but I love working from home. And yeah,
They are not suffering. They are not suffering at all.
no,
My new tenant.
no, some are, dude. So walking through San Francisco today, because I'm working in a relatively close area to where I used to work, 6-7 years ago. You know, same BART stop. I go down the same street, but it was sad because I saw a lot of businesses, a lot of mom and pop shops, liquor stores, little restaurants that I used to go to shut down. Shut down. No one was going in. I found one restaurant today, and I sent the text earlier today to you and everyone else in our friend group chat. I found a spot called HRD, which was like the very first Korean fusion restaurant that I've ever been to in San Francisco. Not that they were closed; it's right down the street from where I work. Fully open, ready to go, ready to rock and roll. The food was still just as good, and I was like, "I'm so glad that you guys survived the pandemic." They're like, "Yeah, we are too." Like, we're surprised that we're able to stick around when a lot of the other restaurants that I remember, they weren't there anymore. 2 years later, a lot of stuff is shut down because people aren't going into the office.
Are there still taco trucks roaming the street?
I don't know yet. I remember about 2 blocks down from where I'm working now, there was an off the grid that would happen every Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know if it's still there. So it's it is crazy. It really, really is.
Well, definitely. Well, congrats on the new job.
Thank you.
That deserves a. You're not getting that sound?
No one heard it. No one heard it.
Oh, you didn't hear it. I heard it just fine.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure. I'm just gonna laugh because that was like well timed. Well timed. Cole, that's it. Also, being in front of a computer all day is weird. I now make sure to take walks whenever I can when I'm in the office or remote. Yeah, taking those walks matter. That's what I ended up doing today at lunch, and walking to and from the office from the BART station. It's it's like a quarter of a mile walk.
Well, you did gain about 100 pounds working an office job versus when you were working at the restaurant. You kept the weight low even though you were eating a lot of the food.
Yeah, but then look how much I was lifting back and forth at the restaurant, right? You know, we're bus boys. We're moving, we're shaking our ass back and forth. One of my favorite breweries cut its menu in half, and it makes me sad. No, don't say that about a brewery. They can't cut stuff off, man. They got to keep making it, producing.
Well, Costco did the same thing. I was sad when the Polish dog went out. The combination pizza.
The Polish dog went out. That was
the saddest day of Costco history.
In Perspire history.
Oh, yeah. We just can't have a hot dog. We also got to have the Polish dog.
Thank you, Joe, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I hope you like the new job, dude, Miss. So it's day one. It's all onboarding. Let's see how it goes. It seems like it's gonna be pretty chill. I'm really in it to learn something new. I'm really in it to build up my XP and make sure my life experience points, go up so I can move on to the next step. This isn't the final step I'm looking for. Look, I want to make $150,000 a year within the next couple of years. I need to up my game, and I know that this is the stepping stone to getting there. Right there.
Working and living in the Bay Area, you're gonna require at least $200K a year just to live there.
Make it.
Yeah,
just make it. The Bay Area isn't.
Which restaurant? Which restaurant did we work at?
Which restaurant was it? Jumpman 209. Is it in the 209 in the Stockton area? I wonder what.
Off of March Lane.
March Lane, I believe. Yeah. So Red and I, we used to work at Marie Callender's in Stockton. So like me and Red and I really go back, you guys. Like we go back, and Jumpman too. Jumpman, not gonna lie, Jumpman is a part of our friend group, and yeah, we all used to work at. I brought a lot of people into the Well, actually, I brought Red in, and then he ended up bringing in all of our friends into the restaurant. I opened the door to Red, and Red opened the door to everyone else.
Hey, the vagina is nice and warm. You should jump in.
New role, yes, Cole. I'm now an IT. Was it IT analyst 3? IT from tech support to IT analyst 3, which is
that brings you up to another $15,000 off of what you were making originally.
Sure, let's say that. Those numbers sound really nice. I will go with that. Sounds better than what it really is. No one needs to know that I'm lying. You know,
Kind of a huge deal here.
kind of a big deal here. I don't know if you know, but kind of a big deal here. Oh, that's very nice.
Your first print in leather. Books.
I don't know what I'm saying. Help me start again. Let me throw something at you. If you don't like it, throw it back.
Well,
I want to be on you. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to be on you.
anyway,
Anchorman for those who don't know.
party.
Those
Well,
who don't know.
since you only got a few more minutes of stuff here because you got to take off, let's go over what you did this weekend, which was watch Black Adam and give us your rundown because I didn't go watch it. That was painting.
So I'm not going to spoil it.
Might as well. We're here to hear your spoilers.
No, I'm not going to spoil it because it's not fair. We don't have our other brothers on the show, so we're going to talk.
I haven't even watch it either. So you're the only one that actually did your homework. This time.
Okay, all right. Black Adam, starring The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and a bunch of other people. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Black Adam there was a lot of action. Let me start with the goods. There was a lot of action, and the action was good. It really was good. It was fun. It was mindless, and maybe
were they copied from previous comic book movies as well?
Yeah.
With Wonder Woman, same thing they did with
No, there was actual killing in this one. Surprisingly, for a superhero movie and only rated PG-13, there was a lot of killing. Now, Miss So saying she had no intention, but everyone started to rave, so I'll see it now. Look, take it for a grain of salt because there was a lot of action. However,
story-wise,
there was a lot of things that weren't the best. Storyline wise, to be perfectly honest with you, felt very basic. It felt like, superhero coming down, save the world. Oh,
there was superpowers, right? That's all it is.
Yes, there was a story behind it, and what they did with Black Adam's story in the movie, his story, and how he became Black Adam, I actually thought was pretty cool. It had a very nice story to it. It was very touching, to be honest.
Did it follow the source material?
Here's the thing. Let me go ahead and I should have prefaced it with this. I don't know anything about Black Adam. I have absolutely zero knowledge of Black Adam. So I'm going to tell you about this through the eyes of a person who hasn't read any of the comics, and I have no idea of the lore. All right. Now, his story as to how he became what he became was quite touching. In fact, like I kind of scratched my head at first, like but that doesn't make any sense. Like at the very beginning, they tell you the story, but you're kind of looking at what the trailer said versus what you see versus what they're presenting to you. And maybe through 2/3 of the movie until the third act, I was like, I still don't get how that made sense. And then they explained it to us, how he became Black Adam, how he got his powers, and the sacrifice that was made in order for him to have that power. That was actually touching. That I really enjoyed. Now the acting from Hawkman, the guy who played Hawkman, I thought he did a great job. His acting was convincing. Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan, I was thinking at first from the trailers, I was like, I don't know about this guy. He actually did a pretty good. He did a pretty good. You know what? He was one of my least favorite James Bonds, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan is probably number 2 or number 3 from the bottom. I didn't like his movies. They were too sci-fi-y, and I didn't like him. He wasn't convincing as a James Bond to me.
Okay.
I didn't feel like he had the same swag as like a Roger Moore or a Sean Connery. My name is James Bond. But Hawkman's and Dr. Fate and surprisingly The Rock's acting were not bad. Now The Rock wasn't the same guy from the Fast and the Furious movies, and he didn't have as many lines. So The Rock not talking and killing was actually kind of cool. Overall, story wise, the plot very basic.
Shakespeare. This is fucking Black Adam.
Yeah, I know. I know, but it's also something
Not
that's been
Shakespeare,
hyped.
no, Shakespeare.
But it's been hyped. It's been hyped and overhyped. And this is definitely an overhyped movie by The Rock. He's trying to get people in. And what sucks, like I'm not gonna spoil it, but the spoiler is out there. And if you've seen the spoiler, that sucks for you because honestly, if it wasn't for someone saying something online, namely The Rock, that mid-credit scene blew everything out of the water. But it also raised a lot of questions to me
Like how it's gonna
because
be because of that spoiler.
well, more along the lines of morally, I don't think that Amanda Waller and the person I'm trying not to mention, they're not really on the same moral ground. So why is he there? So, but it does, is a good way of saying, hey, look, there's going to be a 1-2 fight between these two in the future, and it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be pretty dope. I'm liking the direction it could possibly go, and this is one of those movies where it's setting up for a next epic.
Just as long as the WB and the people at DC get their shit together, right?
After
Discovery Channel because they own both properties.
After Hamada leaving, it just feels like that's the nail in the coffin. I don't think that Discovery, WB, AOL, Warner Brothers, Warner Brother, One Warner Sister, I don't know, whatever it is now, I think that they're going to fold in eventually. Black Adam did a good first week, but I do not think it's rewatchable. Wow. Were you able to think Black Adam? I just saw The Rock. I get it. And it's hard to shake off the fact that you're watching The Rock as Black Adam. Because other movies like, oh, that's Superman. Ben Affleck, that's Batman. This one right here, I'm like, oh, that's The Rock playing a superhero. So it is kind of tough for me.
Bottom somebody?
What was that?
Did he rock bottom somebody?
I was waiting for it. He did not. He did not.
Oh, he did the People's Elbow on the Scorpion King, and then he rock bottom somebody on the Rundown. But after that, I didn't see any of his old wrestling moves from the last movies.
It was supposed to be a twist, but it's not. Who cares? You know what? Yes, it was supposed to be a twist, and if it wasn't for the spoiler itself, it would have made sense. He was just okay. Just talking about Pierce Brosnan. Not my top pick. I'm with you, Misso. Definitely not my top pick, Pierce Brosnan. Spoiler. Let's go ahead and get rid of that one right there. Hold on. Spoiler. Black Adam is in the movie. The Rock is actually Black Adam's dad. Maybe it's a way to give the Rock an original character. It wasn't. I wasn't surprised at the spoiler. I want to see Stone Cold again.
Lex Luthor? Oh, cool. That's Lex Luthor.
He's got to come out flipping people off, drinking beers. Yeah. What do you think of the Justice Society? So the Justice Society, see, and this okay. So this is where I feel like the movie felt disconnected. Because eventually it didn't feel like a Black Adam movie. It actually felt more like there were times where it felt like the Justice Society featuring Black Adam or Black Adam featuring the Justice Society. I would say for the first run of a character of this magnitude, they should not have introduced other characters yet to give them the support. This is a character that needed to be on his own first before introducing other people.
He needed an antagonist. So who was the antagonist?
Well, other than the antagonist,
other groups from within the universe to join within the fun.
I see how DC is trying to maybe try to bring in a Marvel formula by having the main character and having a lot of like big name superstar or big name in the comic book characters to help support. I think it was a little too early for that. For this, I think with the story the way it was told, I think it could have been done without the Justice Society, and we could have saved them for
Adam Man and Dr. Fate. I think they're B-list. They're in the B tier of the DC hierarchy.
I don't now. From people who've read DC and from the information I'm gathering, they absolutely whoever knows the Justice Society absolutely love them. They love the Justice Society. I'm actually quite interested in reading some of the books. Don't get me wrong. I want to know a little bit more about Dr. Fate. I know of Hawkman. Um, and because I know of him, if he had died, it wouldn't phase me, because if you know his story, he eventually comes back to life, right? He kind of resurrects. So I wasn't worried if he lived or died within the movie. However, the two other characters, Adam Smasher and Cyclone, I brought Eris with me. She loves Cyclone. She's like, "Oh, that girl's cool. I kind of like her." I'm like, "Okay, cool. If she appeals to my daughter, I'm not going to knock this young lady for playing the role that she played. I'm happy that she's happy." However, Adam Smasher, I could care less about that guy. I was telling Eris, and she agreed. And now, of course, this is coming from a 12-year-old, but when the 12-year-old's like, "Yeah, I see what you're saying," he felt like Peter Parker meets Giant Man. And I just wasn't impressed with that kid. I was just like, I could care less about you.
That needed a comedic entity there, which was that guy. So you couldn't get that out of Pierce Brosnan, and then the Rock's character is way too serious.
Yeah.
And I don't think the female had anything in Hawkman support.
Now, Hawk, the dynamic between Hawkman and Dr. Fate, I really enjoyed. Their relationship felt very believable. And it's really hard. I can see how it's going to be hard for the normal movie watcher who doesn't know anything about comic books. I could see how it's going to be hard for them to disassociate certain characters from other characters they've seen. Oh, that character reminds me of so-and-so that I've seen in this movie. And you know what? I think they did it better over here. So we're now getting into this point in superhero movies where there's going to be a blending of characters where there's going to be a lot of, hey, so-and-so reminds me of so-and-so and this other so-and-so. So, what's the point? But
that's how they are in
comics.
Well, yeah.
But again, to the normal movie watcher, not to a comic book reader, but to a normal movie watcher who has no association with any comics, who doesn't care about comics, they're going to watch this and be like, well, hold on, why does he kind of remind me of Peter Parker and Giant Man put together?
People might get tired of that fact that they're rehashing a superhero with this guy's last personality, but that's what we're trying to bank on, is like people forget, and that they're gonna like the new guy that they introduce.
Yeah,
to gain more fans.
So overall, out of 10, I'm not going to give it a comic book rating. Out of 10, I'm giving this movie a 6 out of 10. It's a big explosion. It's messy in some points. It's messy in some parts. It was fun in others. There was some laughs. Some characters I really found annoying. I really, really found annoying. Some of the acting was really bad. Like the line delivery, I'm like, I could care less about what you're saying right now because you're not capturing my attention.
More moving the story along.
No, it wasn't heartfelt. The beginning, it felt very rushed. Like, all right, so this is going to be the story. And they try to smash everything in like 6 or 7 minutes. And it's like, it doesn't give the audience enough time to marinate on what the overall story is. It was just like, all right, this is what's going to happen and go. It felt very, very fast. So
on a men on film rating, you would say it's a 2 snatch in the May?
I would say just 1 snap.
It
was okay. So, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Oh. Okay.
It was okay, honey. It was okay. It's okay. Maybe next time you'll do it right.
At least you tried.
At least you tried. Exactly. At least you tried.
Get a gold star.
What'd you do this weekend, Red?
Oh, I painted the house. I painted the inside of the house. I'm doing a lot of renovations going on here. A lot of drywall work, a lot of Ethernet thing. Well, that's why I had to ask you questions about some of that stuff of wiring and networking.
I thought it was done at work. I thought you were doing that at work.
I could do it at work, but I'm not the IT guy. I am head of the design team. But I did do IT stuff in the last previous jobs to help around, just because the IT guy was gone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I got. Oh, I also got our friends at Comic Corner while he shipped my book.
Oh, what'd you get?
If I can get the glare out of the way, it is the Ronin cover of Star Wars. Let me get the
Of the of the Ronin from what was it called? The last was it the last
Visions.
not
Visions,
what was
Star Wars Visions.
yeah. What was the name of that one? Because that one was our favorite.
They just Ronin.
Was it the Ronin?
Yeah.
In Star Wars episode. It was episode 1. I know that. That one was called The Duel.
The Duel?
The Duel. Yeah, that was the one with the Ronin in it.
Let me bring it up.
Dude, that one right there I want to see more of. I want to see whether it's in a comic, whether it's in another short. I want to see more of that. Like, or what led up to him being a Ronin. Like, I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
I got the Virgin without the block lettering on top and the Marvel logo. Definitely, yeah, one of my new favorite characters from the Star Wars universe, because they really dove into the samurai aspect of the, I guess, the mythos. Is the word. It's fun.
I thought it was fantastic. Now, here's a question though: is this Visions, this book right here, is it a continuation? Have you read it? Is it a continuation of that, or is it just retelling what we saw?
I haven't opened it. I haven't checked it yet, but I'm going to read it after we're done here.
Okay, full on review, because I need to know about this one. Full on review next week.
Oh yeah, you will. You will get review. You will get that review.
Good.
I think this showing up.
That's a dope cover.
Comic Corner. They think they still have some at 616 Comics, and I think another retailer, but I can't remember. If not, pick up the A cover, or there's other variants out there from other artists like Peach Momoko, and I can't recall the other artists, but yeah,
I like this one.
Looks like, I think this is good. It's going to be a good spec book, just because people who love Star Wars Visions are going to go jump into this book.
I like the art on this one because it definitely captures the feel from the show itself.
Yeah. Well, it's Takashi Okazaki, so maybe we should hit him up and maybe do exclusive somewhere down the future.
We'll have our people contact his people. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll have our people contact his people. And let me send let me do a quick little shout out here.
Talking about C3, right?
Yeah, so this weekend was C3 Comics Curing Cancer. This was held by Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics, Legion of Comics, DJ Links, Whack Comics. There was a lot of people involved in this weekend. Remy Q Studios, and these guys ended up putting an auction together during their shows at certain times over the weekend. It was a 3-day event. Last year, they were able to raise approximately $8,000 for the American cancers.
That's a lot of money.
So this year they're like, you know what? We're going to go for 10. We want to beat last year's number. And oh my goodness, dude, Red, on Friday, on day one, they reached it on the first day.
Wow.
Which was fantastic. And so I want to share this to anyone who doesn't know or hasn't seen it. But by the end, this is how much they raised. And I'm so proud of these guys. They raised $20,000 to help Cock Slam Cancer is what that was like the side name for it, but it's C3
doubled and more.
They did over 3 days. These guys were able to raise over $20,000 to the American Cancer Society. They were doing the Lord's work, and this was a beautiful event. If you were a part of it, if you donated, if you purchased anything, I want to say on behalf of the guys, thank you. And there's still a chance to be able to donate. Follow Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics on Instagram. And he has a special link if you want to go in and help donate and still continue on. Look, they have this was posted yesterday, so they have 67 days left on this campaign, thinking that they weren't going to reach the number of 10,000, but they smashed up, absolutely obliterated their goal and last year, and I look forward to what 2023's got in store for these guys, because this is an official event at the American Cancer Society. It's actually on their white sheets that this is an event that's held, and I'm proud of these guys, man. They did an amazing job.
Good work.
Congrats out to everyone that was a part of that. Seriously, man.
I'm impressed. I thought we did a good thing with John.
Yeah, we raised it was nice because some people were able to match donations, and we were able to raise about four to five, I think $5,000 with that right there. That was for the Oakland Food Bank. And you know what, I definitely want to be able to do one this year again. I want to be able to mimic numbers like what they did at C3. So we probably should reach out to some of our friends and ask for help on how to get it set up, and look forward to it, because December's right around the corner, and I think we're shooting for a December day for our auction and our
struggling, and I think
archery event
should be helping as well.
I think it can be done. I think it can be done. Reaching those numbers would be outstanding, but as long as we can beat our number from a couple of years ago, I'd be more than happy with that as well.
I don't know. We kind of skipped last year just because we were, getting into the whole holidays and just but we're in it for again this year. Well, hopefully we'll get something worked out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be working on our own charity auction event, you guys. So keep an eye out for that. We're working behind scenes. It's something that we've been talking to some people about, and it'd be nice to be able to help out just like C3 did, but and anything would help for sure. What about you, Red? What you got for us? What's going on now?
And lastly, before we end the show, something came out today that you probably already watched, but it just crossed my timeline already.
Yours? What's happening today,
Well,
Red?
today was the release of Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania official trailer.
What? Let's take a look and see what's going on with Ant-Man in San Francisco. I like this because it's in San Francisco, and I work in San Francisco, so it's really cool.
What great synergy!
What amazing! It's almost on a quantum level of synergy.
Wow. And hit play.
Bam.
I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Scott, you're at X-Con. How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
People still need help, Dad.
That's why we made this. It's like a satellite for deep space, but quanta.
Wait a minute. You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now!
It's a secret universe beneath ours.
What are you so afraid of? There's something I never told you.
This place. It isn't what you think.
Oh, I find a little side of my future lies beyond the other regret.
Hey!
I can get you hope. And give you more time. If you help me. So, what's it gonna be? Ant-Man.
Wow. We get Kang. We get Kang again. See, because in Loki, he wasn't Kang, or at least not Kang yet.
No, he was the one who remains,
You know,
which
so
is another variant of Kang.
you know what? I was looking forward to this trailer. After watching it, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you probably didn't even read a lot of Ant-Man comics. back in
Yeah,
the day.
that's very true. That's very true. However, it felt almost very Guardians of the Galaxy-ish, you know. And I guess if we're gonna mimic a movie, mimic that one, you know, that property. But it also doesn't feel with Michelle Pfeiffer and with them giving us the quantum realm being like a whole new universe underneath, and then actually having people in there, it makes me wonder a lot of questions, like where did they come from? How did they get there? You know, how did they
Which will
survive this
be
whole time?
explained in the movie.
You know, but it's like, but why now though? Why is this being brought up now?
Well, because the daughter of Scott Lang, Cassie, made that quantum antenna, which set off all the events in the movie.
All right, great breakdown. Really appreciate it. No, I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're able to break that down for me. I never would have figured that out.
I know, right?
Which speaking of Cassie, which brings it up that this is the third actress to play Cassie Lang. So like the original young girl in the first Ant-Man movie, you know, the cute little one, like I was down for her. I was like, yeah, dude, she's down for her dad. You know,
Yeah.
me being a dad of an awesome girl myself, I'm like, I love this dynamic. And then seeing her again in Endgame, like that was very heartfelt. Like every time I watch that part, I still kind of like choke. I still kind of like choke up a little bit. She has to see her. She has to see him, you know. And now this is the third actress to play Cassie, and she's gonna be playing Cassie not just in Ant-Man but also in Secret Wars. So spoiler, if you were wondering, she's going to survive this movie. So whatever happens in this movie, don't worry about it. She's going to be there until the end.
Right. She's all going to be part of the Young Avengers.
So I think the problem is that there's so many Marvel trailers that all feel the same now. They all run together after a while, but I'll see it just cause.
Well,
I get it.
It's the Kevin Feige formula. That's what it is.
And yeah, it's starting to seem very formulaic. I could never say that word.
Formulaic.
Thank you very much. Formulaic. I'm gonna watch it too. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna watch it. But I'm just hoping that it's good. I really am. And I think it's Peyton Reed still, right? He's sticking with the property. I believe.
Yeah.
Peyton Reed, the original director for the first two movies.
Well, yeah, but it was written by Edgar Wright for the first one. Edgar Wright, who did Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. He also did Scott Pilgrim, which is one of my favorite movies. I absolutely love Scott Pilgrim.
What was that one with that did as cops?
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
Dude, that's where a lot of our Perspire stuff comes from. You know, for the greater good.
For the greater good.
Yeah.
Definitely our favorite movie.
One of the movies that we definitely draw inspiration from. But yeah, I can only imagine what it would have been like if he had actually directed it. Like that would have been pretty cool.
Of course. But I think they used 90% of his script already for the first one. That's why the tone for Ant-Man was so good and carried over to the next movie.
The energy did carry over into Ant-Man and the Wasp. I didn't think Ant-Man and the Wasp was as good, but it wasn't bad either. Like if Ant-Man was an A, Ant-Man and the Wasp was like a B. Yeah. It wasn't as good, but it was still a pretty good movie. I will say it was a pretty good movie.
I think it was the whole thing with the ghosts and Giant Man. It's made the story a little bit convoluted.
I like the double entendres in there. They were measuring each other up. Watch out now. How big did you get? Oh, whoa. What kind of question is this? Hold on here.
Drum roll, please.
Paul Rudd is a selling point for me. You know, honestly, he's a selling point for so many people. Like
it all started with the Alicia Silverstone movie, which was
Clueless. Damn. Definitely Paul Rudd is a selling point for Mimi. So, you know, hopefully she'll come and watch it with me in the movie theater also.
He plays almost the same guy. I mean, on I Love You Man, where and he just plays a dude that's really casual and
Slap in the bass. Slap in the bass. I like Paul Rudd though. He's really I liked him in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I'm gonna give you a native name. Pipioki. I was like, wait, what? Shut up.
fucking,
No, get up again. No, back down. No. The less you do, the more you do. or in Anchorman, 60% of the time it works
works
every time. What? That doesn't even make any sense. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. It smells like pure gasoline. Honestly, come to think of it, I don't think I've seen a bad movie he's been in. Like every movie that I've seen that he's been in has been entertaining in one way or another.
Oh yeah.
In one way or another, it's been entertaining. Just I walked out. I was smiling. If anything,
Paul Rudd plus Judd Apatow movies.
I was gonna bring 40-Year-Old Virgin when he was in there too. It's not my porn. I don't know why you're trying to give me a big box of porn.
Boner Jams 03. Yeah. Your compilation tape of your favorite scenes.
Yeah, a lot of Paul Rudd movies, Miss. You have to go back and watch. Like we can give you a listing for sure. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Was it I Love You Man or Yes Man? I forgot. It was one of those two.
I Love You Man. Yeah.
I Love You Man. You need to go watch.
Scott. I forgot what it was.
Anchorman.
And Christopher Mintz-Plasse, which played shoot, who was on Superbad, which was the kid, one name, McLovin.
Oh,
McLovin. Oh, you're not monopolizing the chat, so we missed.
That's right. That's when McLovin was LARPing, right?
Yes.
that one was a good one too.
So you're right.
Yeah.
The whole you've never seen a bad Paul Rudd movie. Yeah.
It's very true. I haven't. They might not have been critically good, but almost every single movie Paul Rudd's been in has been entertaining. I've laughed, giggled, smiled, remembered. I never walked away from a Paul Rudd movie feeling like that sucked. Like, I don't know about that one.
Of course. And most of them have been written and directed by Judd Apatow. So I think the whole 2000 and 2012, all the Judd Apatow movies were not, were not flops at all.
No, almost all of them were good. He's kind of like fallen off, and one of those things was like, you know what, you better step away now while things are good. Because I think he had one last movie and it was okay. Like that, and I want to say we watched it recently. Mimi and I were like, what was the last movie that he did? We're like,
the people I used to work with, I've not like outgrown their use, but I moved on to other bigger things.
Oh, he's the one that did Bros too. I heard that movie was bad. Like it wasn't good. That's like a recent movie that came out. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got, Red.
Well, what would you score the current trailer then?
Oh, comic book?
Comic
I'm gonna go 9.2.
9.2.
I'm gonna go 9.2 on the trailer. It looks familiar, it looks good, but it doesn't seem minty to me.
Okay. I'll agree with
What
you.
about you?
I'll go 9.0. I'll go 9.0. Just because it looks like it's a rehash, but
yeah,
we're seeing a new world, but it's somehow comparable to the last new world we saw in Guardians or we saw in Avengers Endgame, and
it sucks because I think the look of the movie took away from the fact that Kang's going to be in there, and that's what I think it is for me. If that makes any sense.
Nah, they wanted to spoil a little bit on this trailer, but I think there's going to be more.
Well, let's cross our fingers because Herbs is right. I think, and that's what I liked about it was that the first Ant-Man movie was a heist movie, and honestly, I really enjoy my heist movies. I really, really do. Not just the Ocean's movie, but like the Guy Ritchie movies, They're all heist movies, and his good heist movies are really good. Like even his last one called The Gentleman. If you guys want to watch a really good movie, in my opinion, great characters, great lines, fantastic one-liners, watch The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell, Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant. Who else is in it? It's a fantastic cast. Let me just push that one right there. Watch The Gentleman.
Is it better than The Big Hit with Mark Wahlberg? or If Looks Could Kill with
Looks Could Kill. That was a good one. That was a good one. If Looks Could Kill. Who was that?
Not Antonio Sabato Jr.
Richard Grieco. Richard Grieco. That's another 80s heartthrob right there. No. But like, if you know anything about like any of the heist movies, this is Guy Ritchie's best movie since like Snatch.
Or just watch the Rick and Morty episode, The Heist.
That one was taken from
Many
heist, yeah, from Soderbergh and from Guy Ritchie. Yeah, I'm with you, Herbs. Hope they keep Ant-Man fresh and different. I really do too. And been meaning to see The Gentleman. Miss So, I hope my words help you with this. Watch it. Do yourself a service. It's fantastic. I love. Like we drove down to LA recently. Mimi, her sister, and I. We drove down to LA, and we had that movie on just for background noise because the quips, the one-liners, fantastic. They're awesome.
So if you don't like it, you can ask for your money back.
I'll rent the movie for you, Miss So. If you paid actual money and you didn't like it, oh no, it's on Netflix. Go watch it on Netflix. That's where it's at. Yeah, we're waiting for Michael Pena's story, dude. Like I'm still waiting for this guy to break down the whole MCU because that would be.
What if Michael Pena's character meets Madison with a Y in the MCU?
Wait, hold on. Madison with the Y, but
it's not. No, Madison spelled with a Y with two N's. But it's not where you think.
I gotta go. Anything else you gotta say, right?
It for this evening, guys. Thank you for showing up in the chat. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you're brand new. Also, we have it in podcast form. Search for us under C-List Villains in the Spotify, Apple, iTunes. What was the other thing we used?
Google Podcasts and Anchor. Anywhere where our podcasts are found, you will find us there. Just type in the C-List Villains podcast.
And we've got also other channels within our network. Just check out E-Man, C-List E-Man. He's got brand new shows again starting soon after he got his new job. Yeah. And this other channel, which is the Traveling and Drinking Show. You should check that out. Great content there. Definitely worth the watch. Makes you want to go live in the Bay Area or just travel and enjoy the Bay Area for
Bay Area Brews and Bites. That's the name of that channel. Find us there on TikTok, on Instagram, and we post regularly on there too.
Yes, he does it all bottomless.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until the next issue.
Exercise your prostate.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the C-List Villains podcast, your cultivators of the comic culture. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and email us at clistvillains@gmail.com. You can also leave us a voicemail or text us at 209-975-7597. Be sure to join Luke Week's Facebook group, Rare Keys and First Appearance Comics. And you can follow us on our two Instagram accounts, C-List Villains and C-List Villains Podcast. Lastly, follow the villains on their separate IG accounts, at Luke Weeks, at C-List Villainous Red, at C-List E-Man, and I am at AJ the Comic Collector. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next episode.